everyone. I'm Miss Heather from the Tewksbury Public Library, and I'm back with our next installment in our cursive handwriting series. Last time we talked a little bit about why cursive is important to practice and to learn. It helps us to write with speed. It helps us to write more quickly because we're not really thinking as much about how to form all the letters. It also helps us to write more easily. Once you have a lot of practice, you're able to do things more easily. And it also helps us to write more clearly so that other people can read our writing, and then also we can go back and know exactly what we wrote down because it's easy to read. And writing things down is important because it helps us to remember things better. And learning cursive handwriting in particular is really important because it helps us to be able to connect with the past and to read old historical documents such as letters and even the US Constitution. So grab a pencil. Hopefully it's nice and sharpened. It's got a good point on the end. I have a pencil grip on my pencil. This is a 3-sided grip. It's got a spot for my index finger, my pointer finger, a bigger spot for my thumb, and a spot for my middle finger to rest on. And this is important to use. It's important to have a good grip when you're learning a new writing style. It helps keep your fingers in line and helps you remember where you should have your fingers, and it's one less thing to think about as well. If you have your fingers lined up on your grip, you don't really have to think about it anymore, and you can just concentrate on what you're writing. So last time we did some of the lowercase letter alphabet. It's important to learn the lowercase letters first because you'll be using those ones more frequently. And this time we are going to learn the second half of the lowercase letters. So get your pencil, get some paper, and let's get ready. I'm just about ready to start my cursive. I've got a piece of paper here. My paper has lines on it. Yours might have some lines, it might not, and that's okay. It is a little bit easier to learn with the lines. I've got my pencil with my grip, and I've also got some tape here. Some people find it easier to tape down their page as they're writing, so they don't have to hold it with their other hand. You can choose to do that as well. I like to hold my paper at a slight slant so that it's a little bit easier for me to write, so I might tape it down that way. If you're not used to writing on a slant, keep holding your paper up and down. All right, and now we are ready to start our first letter today. And the first letter that we're starting is one of my favorite letters. It's the letter H. To make a letter H, start from the bottom line. Get a little connection tail, do an undercurve up to the top line, and keep going towards the left. Make a loop and bringing it down, back up, down again, and a little connection tail at the end. So it's very similar to a regular lowercase h, except we have that nice loop in there. So remember that loop, down, up, down, and tail. And it's okay to say these sort of guides as you're writing them, to remember up, loop, down, up, down, and out again. And just continue going across your page until you filled in with the letter H. And I like to move my hand that I'm not writing to help keep my paper steady and help me when I'm writing. The next letter that we'll be doing is the letter K. This one is similar again to the letter H and also looks similar to its lowercase cousin. We'll start from the bottom. We'll do a loop up at the top and bring it down. We'll keep going and we'll make another smaller loop here. And then we'll go back out from there and draw a connection tail down. So a regular lowercase k might look something like this. And our cursive K has 2 loops where those 2 points would be for the K. So again, we'll do our undercurve, loop back and down, and then we'll do an over curve going over to make that loop, bringing it in to the middle there and right back out again to make a connection tail coming down. So loop up, down, smaller loop, in and back out. And keep going across your page, practicing the letter K all the way down. All right, the next letter that we have is the letter F. This one will be a little bit different from our regular letter F because this one is going to dip below the line. So to get started with the letter F, we'll do the same sort of loop that we're doing for the H and the K. So we'll get that loop. And now, when we get to the bottom line, we're going to continue down and we'll do another loop at the bottom, bringing it in so they both meet, and then you bring it back out, and that's its connection tail. So F, loop, down, keep going down and in and out. And that's a lowercase f. Remember to loop, loop, and out. And practice all the way across the page. Going slowly at first, maybe gathering a little speed as you feel more confident, but concentrating on making that upper loop, the lower loop, bringing it in and back out. All right, we're going to go on to the letter B next. And just like these other three letters, we're making that same loop at the beginning. And this one actually looks pretty similar to the letter F, except it doesn't have a loop underneath. So a letter B will look a little something like this. We've got that starter loop, and we're bringing it in and then right back out as our letter B. I like to try to make my loops a little bit thinner so they're not confused with maybe being like the letter E. And you've got that loop, bring it down, curl in, and right back out. All right, and next up, our next letter is the letter V. So, like the other letters, we're going to start going this way. And instead of doing any loops, we're just going to draw the letter V almost as it looks as a lowercase letter. So we've got our letter V here, and just a connection tail from the letter before it. Make the V and a connection tail so it can loop to its next letter. And bring your V's all across your page. All right. Up next, we have the letter R. And the letter R will be made a little bit like the V. We'll start from the bottom there, and we'll go up. And to make the R, we draw a slanted line down, and then we'll curve that around. So that's a lowercase cursive letter R. Goes up, slant, and a curve. Up, slant, curve. Up, slant, curve. Up, slant, curve. Up, slant, curve. All across your page, you should have those letter R's. The next letter we are learning is the letter S. This one reminds me of a sailboat. I'll make one right now so you can see what I mean. And that triangle shape right there is what really reminds me of the sailboat. So that might help you remember how to make this letter when you're practicing on your own. So we're curling up like we did with the R. We're curling over, in, just barely touching, and sliding out to make that connection tail. So this is our letter S. Curve down and back, up, down and back, up, down and back, up, down, back, up, down, back. When you have all your letter S's going across the page, we are entering the last 4 letters that we'll do today. We've got N as our next letter. And the letter N will look a little something like this. It looks very similar to its lowercase regular letter. We've got a little connection tail in the front and the back, and then just a letter N. And same sort of thing coming up for the letter M. You've got just a little connection tail at the start, drawing the M's, and a little connection tail at the end. And notice that the N and the M both have the rounded tops there. And we've got our M's all going across the page. It's time to make the letter Y. The letter Y starts off similar to a regular Y. We're making almost like a U right there. And we're bringing this down, and we're going to make a loop and out. So, down, loop, out. And you'll notice like the N and the M, the Y also has a rounded spot there as well, rather than just being 2 diagonal lines like that. A Y is rounded in loops in cursive. All right, and we have our last cursive lowercase letter to learn. This is the letter Z, as in zebra. And this one's a little bit of a funny shape. It starts with our connection tail in the bottom. We're going to curve over. We're going to go in. We're going to go back out and down. We're going to make a loop and come out again. That is a cursive Z. So in, back, loop, out. In, out, in, loop, out. And there you have it. So now we've learned all of the lowercase letters of the alphabet. Thank you so much for tuning in today and learning cursive with me. We're really excited to see that this has gotten such a positive response. In the sessions ahead, we'll be learning how to connect all of those letters. We'll learn how to write some words, and we'll also learn uppercase letters as well. You can subscribe to our channel so you are notified every time we post a new video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks, bye!